Welcome to the finals of the StarCityGames.com Power 9 Series here on the SCG Tour. Cedric Phillips and Todd Anderson here in the booth. Nick Miller's down in the feature match area getting ready to watch what we all want to watch, a shop smear between number 1 overall seed Eric Marich, number 2 overall seed.
There it is.
There's a shops
on
finally.
The play.
Soul Ring.
First seed Eric Marich.
Steel Overseer. Give me more. Give me more.
Oh,
a Ballista.
My. What a start. In the mirror match, you have the potential to draw so many useless cards, but having such an explosive start here, Andy has a lot of work to catch up, and it's turn 1.
Andy, give me a shops. Don't let me down. Okay, Mox, whatever. That card stinks. Give me a shop.
Look, Mox plus Ancient Tomb is...
Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go.
Let's go. Hey.
What is this? Ballista for 2. See ya. Bang, bang.
Clear.
Bang, bang.
A clean, clear, and answer to both of these creatures from Eric Marich. I guess it didn't take that much to come back.
Why do you think he's the world champion? Bang, bang. Both those things are dead. It's your turn. But Eric has more mana. 3, 4, 5 to Andy's 4. Okay, okay.
Potentially all the way up to 8 if he has a second copy of Mishra's Workshop.
That start was awesome from Eric. Goodness.
Yeah,
Ooh,
and it was countered by a single card from Markiton.
That's true. All right, 2 mana. Archon Ravager. Good card. Counter there. Big follow-up. Sphere. Okay.
Nice one.
Okay. All right, Eric Marich, only 1 card left in hand. We're going to go back over to Andy Markiton. I wonder if it matters. I wonder, player draw. Extra card might matter a lot.
Andy Markiton has that extra card. He also 2 for 1 on turn 1 with the Walking Ballista.
Yeah.
They both had similar starts with Mishra's Workshop as well as a Mana Rock. So who knows? This could be either player's game.
All right, Overseer going to start it. Oh, no.
Given Marich the business.
Oh, no. Wasteland going to take care of a workshop.
You know how bad it feels to get your Mishra's Workshop hit with a Wasteland?
I don't want to know. Ooh,
Pretty
Academy.
bad.
All right, so Academy is going to tap for 3. That's not bad.
Yep. He could also potentially use Soul Ring to activate Mishra's Factory, and that'll effectively give him 4 mana plus 1 floating, so 5. So he could cast something like Glowstone Golem or some other 4 mana card here, even through the Sphere of Resistance, while also turning on his Mishra's Factory.
All right, 5 mana. What we got? Something good. Okay, another Ballista's good. That can't be bad.
I like activating the Mishra's Workshop. It's basically a free roll, and you get to attack with it.
Yeah, so this is...
He may have done that.
No, so it's 5 mana, and Ballista costs 5 with the counter, with 2 counters.
But using one of your colorless mana to activate the Mishra's Factory is basically a free roll because it turns into an artifact creature. So I would have liked to see that and get in for 2 extra damage here.
He doesn't have the mana.
If you spend 1 mana to activate the Mishra's Workshop, you're breaking even with a Tolarian Academy.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, got it. You're right.
Tell me I don't know nothing about vintage.
Oh, this is a lot of mana. Hangerback, all right.
3 Hangerback Walker, paying the extra 1, obviously, from the Sphere of Resistance. That's going to put a pretty serious roadblock here. Hangerback Walker, traditionally very good in matchups where creature combat matters. Being able to, potentially block some of the bigger creatures from Eric's side, while also threatening to make a bunch of Thopters if it ever dies.
All right, so let's see. Eric has... All right, so his Academy taps for 4. Soul Ring 6, Factory 7. So that's 1 activation on Ballista, which isn't bad. That's a long way to go, though. Let's see what this is. Chalice.
Chalice on 0, paying the 1 mana from the Sphere. I like this play, actually. There are a lot of 0s in both decks, but at the same time, Marich is mostly out of gas.
He might just be playing that Chalice just to eat it.
Maybe.
Just to eat it with the Ravager.
Yeah, that's also true. He can sacrifice basically his entire side of the battlefield to make a giant Walking Ballista, which can contain most of the Thopters from Andy's side.
This is interesting. So Andy's going to block the Walking Ballista with his Hangerback Walker because, and I don't know Andy's hand right now, but just how it looks on the battlefield, it's kind of like a no-lose situation, right? It forces the action from Eric. He's got to eat some stuff. He might have to lose his Ravager now. And then you still got kind of the knuckleheads left behind. So yeah, Eric is just going to start eating some stuff. So he's going to eat the Chalice. He's going to eat the Sphere, sacrifice, modular, make this into a 5/5.
Yep, and now you have 5/5. you still have your Mistress Factory, you still have your Soul Ring, and you still have your Tolarian Academy, but you also have a 5/5 Walking Ballista versus 3 Thopters. So,
But Andy's got 2 shops out there.
yeah, he has access to a ton of mana, and that is a very important aspect of this matchup. But, you know, Marich, even after getting his Wastelanded, still has access to a ton himself.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting. Ooh. Okay.
I like this play. It's aggressive. He knows that those are always under duress from the Walking Ballista itself. Might as well attack. Chump blocking here, a losing proposition.
Sphere, Factory, pass turn back. All right. So, Andy Markiton is going on the offensive. We're going to head back over to Eric. Eric's got a pretty big Ballista, and let's see. The Academy now is going to tap for 2.
Yeah, he can still do the same trick where he activates the Mistress Factory and then gets the extra mana out of the Tolarian Academy, again opting not to.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Because you just activate the factory itself, right?
Yeah, it's a break-even exchange.
Now there's a factory, pass the turn back. Or excuse me, there's a workshop, pass the turn back, over to Marketing.
Look, I don't like second-guessing players. I just call them like I see them.
I see what you're saying.
That 2 damage, he's effectively missed 6 damage so far, I think, which is potentially lethal. It would have forced Andy not to attack with all 3 creatures on the previous turn.
So I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. So he uses the Soul Ring to activate the factory.
Yep.
So he's got a mana floating.
Yep.
And then he taps Academy for...
3 plus the 1 floating. And he can still attack.
Taps for 3 plus the 1 floating, and that pumps the Ballista, and he can still attack. Got it. Okay. All right, beatdowns. Marich down to 14. I wonder when Andy Marketing starts to... Okay, well, he's got another... What on earth is this? It's got to be a Ballista, right?
Yeah, it's an X spell.
Okay,
Sure.
it's a hanger back.
That is a great roadblock here. That's 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's going to be an 4/4. It doesn't quite get the Walking Ballista off the battlefield, but it does create 4 more potential blockers. And if Marich wants to fight through those, it's going to be very difficult and require removing a lot of counters from his only real threat in Walking Ballista.
And Marketing might just keep getting aggressive with his hangerback walker. You know, this one dies, he gets 4 Thopters, and all right, I'm going to keep attacking with all of them, depending on what he draws. And plus he's got those 2 factories back there to do some blocking.
Yeah, he has to block this turn. The 6 damage from the attack plus the 6 activations for Walking Ballista does threaten lethal. But having 7 Thopters is a pretty big deal.
Ooh, what's this? 5. All right, Founder Inspector.
So he's going to have 1 floating.
Yep.
And here he could safely attack with the Mistress Factory again because Andy is forced to block the Walking Ballista or else fear taking lethal.
So a little bit of free damage maybe missed out on there. All right, so here come the Thopters. He's going to get 4. There's the 4th one. Okay, perfect. So now that Walking Ballista has 4 damage on it, but I don't think that's really going to matter.
Now you can just wait till upkeep
Yeah.
if you want to use the minuses. No, you are not allowed to use custom tokens.
Those tokens are banned.
You must use ours, even if that is technically a blue Thopter.
All right, let's go back over to Andy. He's going to untap those 7 Thopters, bunch of lands, Sphere of Resistance, draw a card. I think that was a Steel Overseer he just picked up.
That threatens a lot with the Thopters, but the Walking Ballista can handle it pretty easily.
So one of the things Andy Markin's done a really nice job of, I know, playing this deck on Magic Online and winning a lot. Yeah, this.
Smoosh.
He knows when to get aggressive.
Yeah, and he effectively has 2 chump blockers here with his Mistress Factories.
Uh-huh.
You know, every time the Walking Ballista gets used, it's a little smaller. It takes him further away from taking lethal damage.
Where some players might get a little bit more defensive with these Thopters, Andy says, no way. There's a Steel Overseer. Follow-up, another Silver. She's got a lot of blockers now. All right, he's going to pass the turn back. Put a counter on that there. Walking Ballista. Academy, of course, tapping for 1, 2, 3, 4 plus that factory. Okay, so there's a Wasteland. That can take care of a factory. And he's going to fire it off and take care of one of them. And he's going to activate. Yep, he sees that play right away. He says, I'll activate, I'll pump, with the one that you're going to kill, make this into a 3/3. You can respond if you want. If you do that, you're going to have to use your ballistas. So now, one ballista counter is going to take care of Steel Overseer. That's dead. Another ballista counter, take care of Steel Overseer. So he's got to transition into killing these creatures now.
Yeah, so here he's still threatening lethal with the ballista since he can still activate and add one more counter to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he has one floating, and he can activate the workshop. So he's going to swing in here. The factory is forced to chump on the walking ballista.
Yep.
He's going to take a chunk off of these other creatures, and he still has protection from the 7th Opters with the counters from walking ballista.
So I wonder what Andy Markiton has to draw to win. Outside of, I guess, a walking ballista? All right, it's time to untap and draw. He's got his board mode down.
Eric has to be very careful here in how he takes damage. If Markiton shoves, it's likely he needs to kill at least 3 Thopters and probably 4.
Just because of ballista?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the only card in Markiton's deck that could end the game on the spot if he takes too much damage.
Didn't get a good look at what Markiton drew. Boy, he's giving himself a pretty good chance to win this game by consistently attacking. Yes! Yes! I love plays like this because it makes your opponent make a decision.
Right.
It gives the opportunity to mess up.
Right. And if all Andy has on the backswing is just a chump blocker of some sort, he actually could make it so that Marich just doesn't have lethal on the battlefield.
Yep.
I think he does, no matter what Andy's follow-up is, but I could certainly be wrong.
This is where you're in the finals of a tournament. You're on camera. This is a tough decision. You got to judge over your corner. Photographer down there, and you got to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? How many am I going to kill here?
I mean, I think the magic number is 4. That way you only take 3 damage, you're at 4 life, and you're safe from a 3/3 walking ballista.
And what's great about this is we don't even know the card in Andy's hand. The only person that knows the card in Andy's hand right now is Andy. So we're guessing just like Eric is right now. Yep, so he's going to bring it all the way down to 2 counters. Because it was at 6, so now it falls down to 2. Means Eric's going to fall down to 4 life. What is this card?
Very heads-up play from Marich there.
Trinisphere.
Make him attack, the Reduke special. No cards in hand, never concede.
Yeah, this one should be over. Just fire up the factory, or add some counters to ballista. Yep, he's going to do that. Add a counter there. Get you.
Yep, technically only 6 damage, but he just needs to activate 1 ballista.
Eric Marich going to win game number 1 here over Andy Markiton. Shops.
Remember my catchphrase from last time?
Was that a told you?
Told ya.
Yeah, well, you got 2 more games to go there, buddy. Shopsmear going to the player on the left. We are going to come back and look at sideboards in just a sec. Sideboard, 4 Grafdigger's Cage, 3 Null Rod, 2 Sorcerer Spyglass, 2 Precursor Golem, 2 Chief of the Foundry, Dismember, and a Tormod's Crypt. Todd, what do we want?
I think that Dismember is particularly important, just being able to clear off your opponent's more powerful creatures. I like Precursor Golem in this matchup because there's not a lot of spot removal, and it could just steal games out of nowhere. And Dismember being one of the key cards for preventing you from just losing the game to it. I think Chief of the Foundry is pretty good. You just have a lot of these artifacts that are supposedly disruptive against the blue decks. They're not very good. You just need to get more cards in your deck that do something.
Eric's sideboard is really similar. 4 Cages, 3 Null Rods himself, 2 Dismember as opposed to the 1 that Andy has. They both have 2 Precursor Golems and 2 Sorcerer Spyglass. But Eric's got that Crucible and that Sky Sovereign. You said you liked both of those.
Personally, I think Crucible could be important if the game comes down to an attrition war revolving completely around things like Walking Ballista, which we saw in Game 1. However, if one player has a Mishra's Workshop and is more explosive, something like Crucible Worlds just might not matter. So in the games that end up going longer, and the games that become an attrition war, Crucible very good. Sky Sovereign Console Flagship, also great at picking off those Foundry inspectors as well, Chief of the Foundry and the other little knuckleheads. And then, of course, the 2 Dismember and the Precursor Golem seem like shoe-ins.
All right. There's your sideboard. Here we go. Andy going to be on the play, assuming he chose to play first, which I think you want to do in this matchup.
I believe so.
I don't know if the extra card matters a ton or not, so.
I mean, I suppose if you're on the draw and your opponent has Workshop and you don't, you probably just lose.
Oh, boy. Lodestone? Ballista on 2. Okay.
You know, if that's the most powerful thing you're doing with 4 mana on turn 1, don't leave it alone. Don't restrict it. It's fine.
Here's an Ancient Tomb. Sorcerer Spyglass. I think it's time to shut down that Ballista.
Yeah, I did not expect Spyglass in the mirror just because you all have the same amount of cards. But I have used Meddling Mage to great effect in the Human's Mirror, for example. Even though it's a 2-sided whammy, both players opting to bring it in since they have so many of these mediocre cards in the main deck for the mirror. Sphere of Resistance, Chalice of the Void, Thorn of Amethyst, and Trinosphere. Just easy cards to take out. And something like Sorcerer Spyglass could prevent you from straight up losing the game to an unchecked Walking Ballista.
The hand there for Andy Markiton is a Sorcerer Spyglass of his own. 2 Mishra's Factories and a Steel Overseer. Ballista, the name there for Eric. So Andy's Ballista not going to do very much. Eric going to follow up with a Mox Ruby. And now we head back over to Andy Markiton.
Still a 2-2. Still deal some damage. And with Eric's opening land being an Ancient Tomb, 2 damage a turn does matter.
Wasteland the draw. I think this is a pretty good place to start. Markiton going to come across for 2.
Depending on what he's got to follow this Walking Ballista up, this Wasteland could be fairly powerful from Andy's side. Just shutting off all of these mana sources is key sometimes.
All right, so I'm seeing 2 Ravagers, a Steel Overseer, a Phyrexian Metamorph, and a Factory there for Eric.
I don't know which one you name here. Both Arcbound Ravager and Steel Overseer are very powerful. I think the one that can get most out of control if left unchecked is Steel Overseer, so I'd probably name that one. And then go ahead and fire off that Wasteland on the Ancient Tomb to stifle the mana development from Eric's side.
Well, if you name Steel Overseer, I mean you're stopping the one in your hand.
Fair enough. Maybe he just names Ravager, cast Overseer first.
Because he's got a mana floating, so his turn can be play the Overseer, Wasteland your Ancient Tomb. You just pre a turn.
Yeah. Play Steel Overseer.
Yeah. Play Overseer, play Wasteland, Wasteland your tomb, pass. We'll get confirmation on what's being named right now. Looks like Andy decided. He'll name Arcbound Ravager. All right.
Yep. Like I said, these double-sided whammy cards, they can prevent you from straight up losing a game, but there is some splash damage because you are playing a mirror match.
All right, Steel Overseer. Get him. Get him.
Pop.
Get him.
Pop goes the weasel.
All right, Wasteland's taking care of an Ancient Tomb. Let's go back to Eric.
That's a Traxos. I noticed the wibbly wobbly at the top of the not the ancient cards, the historic cards.
Oh, sure.
That costs 4.
Steel Overseer is here.
If he has another creature to play right now and can start using that Steel Overseer, he's going to be in great shape. I feel like he's just going to activate the Mishra's Factory, and put counters on it.
He's just trying to figure out what he wants to do it with. He's actually going to do it with the Factory itself and now put counters on that, Overseer itself, and the Factory. So these creatures are going to get a little bit bigger.
Even though Arcbound Ravager can't use its sacrifice ability, it still gets its triggered effect from entering the graveyard. So if Marich is able to draw something that produces 2 mana here, he can play both Arcbound Ravagers, start pumping them, and then when they get in combat and block, a lot of counters get to go on another creature.
Strip Mine, the draw.
Eric does have a Phyrexian Metamorph in hand, which he can cast right now and copy Steel Overseer. And then if he's able to draw another land or another mana source, he can actually play both Ravagers and start blocking and double Steel Overseering every turn.
So then he can outdo Andy Steel Overseers.
Right.
If he wants to go that route. He's just going to play a Ravager for right now. Counter there. And he's just going to pass the turn back. So no Strip Mine yet.
He doesn't want to use it because he is stifled on mana. But he wants to threaten it so that Andy is less likely to fire up that Mishra's Factory and get in the red zone.
You saw Andy last game. Andy ain't scared. No Wasteland or Strip Mine. Let's go.
Yep, and Andy knows that he's at a significant mana advantage right now, and he wants to get Eric to pop the Strip Mine on the Factory as opposed to his Mishra's Workshop, and basically just force him to use it in general so he's down a land.
So we're going to get a block here. Okay.
Honestly, I don't love this block. I would love to just take the 4 damage here from that Walking Ballista, try to get a few more counters onto that Arcbound Ravager so that eventually you might be able to double block the Walking Ballista and clear it.
Oh!
That's a backbreaker.
No!
Wow.
Oh, goodness. Oh, Eric, you need to draw land now, man.
It needs to be a Mishra's Workshop, too. Another Traxos.
Was that what that was?
I'm pretty sure it's a backup Traxos.
The first one's not good. The second one's worse.
Yeah, maybe I was wrong. I thought Traxos would be very good in the mirror just because it's so large.
In some spots, it probably is.
Yeah, but at the same time, you need 4 mana, and if the matchup comes down to, whether or not you draw Mishra's Workshop, and also whether or not you can keep it on the battlefield against a deck playing effectively 5 Wastelands with the 1 Strip Mine, it's tough.
It's getting tough out here now for Eric. There's a Ravager.
Yep.
You saw a Factory come down 2. Steel Overseer. That's a 3/3 Steel Overseer. Excuse me, a 4/4 Steel Overseer there for Eric. So Eric is outpaced right now by Andy's Steel Overseer and what he can do with it.
Currently, they're both 4/4s and can both get put up to 5/5s, right?
That's true. Walking Ballista is a 0/0.
Correct.
Right.
So he can trade right here 1 for 1, which I like. Andy almost certainly going to activate the Mishra's Factory and then put a counter on everything. Trading here is fine. You're still super far ahead, not only on mana, but on creature power on the battlefield.
Yeah, good call, actually. I forgot the Ballista 0/0 base power, where Steel Overseer has 1/1 base power. So they're all tied up, which means there will be a trade here.
Yeah, the Spyglasses are we can't do that.
Can't do that. Nope.
The Spyglass is currently locking down the 2 creatures on the battlefield right now with activated abilities aside from Steel Overseer, so...
Yeah, we got 1 Spyglass and Arcbound Ravager. The other Spyglass is on Walking Ballista.
Still a fine trade. It would have been very awkward if that Steel Overseer was 1 bigger, and then it basically just got eaten for free.
Yeah, that wouldn't bad. That would
because he forgot about the Sorcerer Spyglass.
Well, Andy is in a commanding position right now. He's just drawn a copy of Foundry Inspector, so I imagine he'll play that, and he will. The follow-up is activate here. Steel Overseer is going to be pumping up the squad, most likely.
Andy Markiton making some really heads-up plays here. Obviously super far ahead. Drawing 2 sources of land destruction was what put the nail in the coffin here for Eric in Game 2.
Don't forget to counter on your old friend Foundry Inspector. There we go. An attack for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 it looks like. Eric going to fall down to 6. Yep. Eric gets 1 more draw step this game, and that is going to do it. So Andy Markiton is going to tie things up here against Eric Marich. We deserve a 3rd game.
Do you still think you want to be on the draw?
No, I do not. Screw that extra card. I want to go first. Oh, boy, 3rd and final game. We're going to watch and crown a champion here in just a moment. Game number 3 between Eric Marich and Andy Markiton, the 2017 North American Vintage Champion.
Let's see if he can become the Star Seems like Power 9 Series Vintage Champion.
That'll be fun to watch. Being on the play, yeah, I'm with you now. I don't want to be on the draw anymore. Okay.
This Shops Mirror is a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. There's a lot more jockeying for position on the battlefield. Game 1 was a bit anemic. Both players drawing copies of Sphere of Resistance, both able to leverage those into something a bit better than what they normally would be with Arcbound Ravager.
Yeah, interesting stuff here. You see these kind of weird creatures like Steel Overseer and Arcbound Ravager, but these new cards are actually still new-ish in Arcbound Ravager, but these cards are actually pretty darn good. And Walking Ballista, man, talk about a multi-format all-star.
Arcbound Ravager is like the oldest creature in this deck, almost. Yeah, no, it is the oldest creature in the deck. Traxos, brand new. Hangerback Walker. Lodestone Golem was from Zendikar. Zendikar is not as old as old-school Mirrodin.
Dark Steel, yeah.
Yeah. Steel Overseer, I believe M13 or something. One of those sets. Foundry Inspector, brand new. Revoker, New Phyrexia, originally.
I think so. We're getting some business here,
There's
folks.
a bunch of cards legal and standard currently in these Shops decks.
So we just got.
Is that good?
Mott's Emerald, Soul Ring, Ancient Tomb.
That's a nice turn 1.
Oh boy, Arcbound Ravager, Steel Overseer. All right, Andy, you got some work to do, buddy.
Yeah, Eric does only have 2 cards left in hand. Looks like they're both mana sources, so if Andy's able to survive these 2 threats, he could very easily win this game, even though this explosive start from Eric does look menacing.
All right, 3 mana.
Have you ever seen a Black Lotus sacrificed to an Arcbound Ravager? Because I'm pretty sure that's going to happen in the next 3 turns.
Hold on, this is awesome. We have a Foundry Inspector into a Mana Crypt into a Steel Overseer, which costs 1.
Is that good?
Okay, so he's trying to keep up his marketing. All right, we're going to go back over. Lose 2 life.
Yeah, the 2 life, incredibly important here with Ancient Tomb being a major source of mana, as well as the flipping coins from Mana Crypt.
Yeah. All right, so I'm curious what he's going to copy. Looks like he's going to copy Steel Overseer, but we'll confirm. Ooh, he's going to take 2. All right.
Yeah.
Yep, he's going to copy Overseer.
It does seem like one of the better cards in the matchup, as long as your opponent doesn't have Walking Ballista.
Ooh, Chief of the Foundry, and oh boy. And now a Factory.
Yep, and that can obviously tap for a mana for itself to turn it on for Steel Overseer.
Getting aggressive. And he's going to activate this Factory right now. Now he's going to activate this Overseer. And he's going to put some counters on all the creatures. And Andy is actually attacking for a boatload of damage now. Because next turn, he could conceivably attack for lethal.
Yeah, this chip in only for 3, but next turn he will have a ton of power, and I don't believe Marich has enough damage to force a block.
So that was an attack. Oh, my friend, that was an attack for 5. That's a lot.
I'm pretty sure it was 4.
Chief of the Foundry, giving +1/+1, and
You're right.
and
You're
Steel
right.
Overseer.
I'm a big doofus.
That's okay.
Look, I know I had a counter on it. Come on.
That's a lot of damage.
It is.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Steel Overseers could go absolutely nuts in this game.
You know what I want right now? I want Eric Marich to play his entire hand out if they're just random artifacts. Shove with Arcbound Ravager. Threaten to deal 7 damage to any Markiton, and then if Andy chooses to not block, he potentially threatens lethal on the swing back, but if he loses the flip on the Mana Crypt, he just dies.
Oh, so you want to play towards Mana Crypt, huh?
Yeah.
How much have you ever lost?
I've lost a
on
lot.
a coin flip.
I've lost so much.
Here's a Phyrexian Revoker.
Don't tell my wife.
I think this is going to name Overseer, probably. Yeah, he's got to slow down the Overseers that Andy has, and he can't attack. Oh, no.
So he can play Black Lotus. He can sacrifice he can't. It's really strange. He actually couldn't put Revoker onto the battlefield and then use Steel Overseer before he names and locks down his own Steel Overseer. And he needs all these blockers in order to potentially come back in this game with Andy having such an explosive turn 2.
Markiton just lost 3 from the Crypt. He's going to play a Soul Ring, which is free, by the way, because of the Foundry Inspector.
This is turn 3. Just want to point that out.
That
It
is
looks
turn
like
3.
it's like turn 5.
Yeah, it looks like we're kind of
It's
deep into the
turn
game.
3.
Yeah, that's true. So, again, this is kind of where Andy... This is kind of his bread and butter here. Shops mirrors, and, more importantly, the combat math in Shops mirrors. This is kind of his bread and butter in a spot like this. He knows the best ways to attack and block. And when things get a little bit convoluted like they are right now, you almost saw him steal game 1 with all those Doppler tokens.
Yeah. I actually had a nice conversation after the quarterfinals with Brian DeMars outside, and he was telling me he played against Andy Markiton in the quarterfinals, and Andy Markiton just played circles around him. He said that, not me, his words. Andy Markiton just outplayed him. It's a Shop's mirror. It's not as easy as it seems. It's very difficult when you start getting Steel Overseer math involved, Arcbound Ravager math involved, Hangerback Walker, Walking Ballista, all that combined with figuring out which lands to hit with Wasteland, whether or not you save them, when to attack with Mishra's Workshop, or Mishra's Factory.
And DeMars is no slouch.
No,
He's
DeMars
really
is a
good at
very
Minish.
good player.
Okay, so now Andy's just going to come in here with the Foundry Inspector. And a hit for 5. Keep in mind, Overseers can't pump anything, getting locked down by Revokers.
I think if I'm correct and Marich has a Black Lotus in hand and refused to play it so he could sacrifice it to Arcbound Ravager, I'm going to be a little disappointed.
I think what Marich is trying to do with that Lotus is take Andy by surprise with Walking Ballista.
It's possible. If he draws Walking Ballista, he can make a gigantic one and then force the match into a coin flip situation.
Oof, Wasteland.
He's at 13 life. He can afford to take a bunch of damage off of these Ancient Tombs and cast a giant Walking Ballista. And if Andy loses the coin flip on that Mana Crypt, the game could be over.
Yeah, Andy's got to work on getting this game done because of that Crypt. No doubt. Let's roll.
So one, I don't know. Oh, he didn't reach for the pen.
Nope.
He won that one. He's lost a couple in a row.
Let's see what we have here. Ravager. That's a pretty big draw.
Is that just lethal?
I would be surprised.
If it's not, or surprised if it is?
I'd be surprised if it is.
So, Foundry Inspector, Chief of the Foundry, Chief of the Foundry pumping everything, that's the one. Gets in with 4 creatures, 2 go unblocked. Strip Mine has to basically target the Mishra's Factory. Currently, all the creatures being pumped +1/+1. Sacrifice the Mishra's Factory. Sacrifice the 3 mana rocks that he has on that side. That's already a 4/4 or a 5/5 Ravager. 2 creatures go unblocked. Currently, all creatures on Markiton's side are at least 3 power.
Yeah, 2. Just assume the 2 Overseers get through. That's easy. That's the easy thing to do, right? It's just assume they get through.
Yeah, so that's technically only 11, and if he sacrifices the
chief,
they get shrunk. So that's a -1. So
yeah.
I think he's too short.
The nice thing here, though, for Andy, is that Ravager actually lets him eat the Crypt in case it comes down to that.
Yes.
Yeah, love it. This is the thing I love watching about him play. He's so aggressive with how he plays. Like, he doesn't want to give Eric any extra turns. He was very aggressive in game 1, pretty aggressive in game 2 in certain spots, and now getting aggressive again of just saying, look, I'm going to put you in some bad spots here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fine attack. He's not in much danger of just dying on the swing back. He's obviously not going to go for the kill if it's not there. But at the same time, he's going to force a block with
the Revoker.
The Revoker,
yeah.
Which is going to unlock his Steel Overseers and effectively solidify the game. Now we see a Strip Mine there and a sacrifice since it does become an artifact creature. Growing up around Ravager by 1.
Revoker's got to jump in front of something. A Ravager does 2. So the Steel Overseers are going to get through. What's kind of unique about this So let's see. If we go eat and we eat a Mox, we eat a Crypt, we eat a Soul Ring. Ravager's a 5 then. You put 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. So I think if I'm Andy, I eat all my mana rocks. Definitely gonna eat the Crypt. I think I eat all my mana rocks and dump it onto one of the Overseers. And then he's a 2, and he can't use his tombs.
No, that's a good point.
Which I think he's already. I think he's already doing this.
It also turns off Dismember,
Yep.
which is potentially an important card. Like if he doesn't shove here, well, I guess Dismember couldn't kill Ravager anyway, so I guess that's moot.
Yeah.
I think being aggressive here and shutting off the Ancient Tombs is definitely a fine play. Looks like he wants to clear the Arcbound Ravager though. That's also a pretty legit play as well.
So if damage is going to happen here, this is bad news for Eric. He's going to lose his battlefield, pretty sure.
Yeah, loses everything. He still has access to potentially 6 mana. If he has that Black Lotus, which I think he does in hand,
he does.
He has 9. But a 4/4 Walking Ballista is not enough to get the job done now that the Arcbound Ravager was able to successfully get rid of that Mana Crypt, which threatened to end Andy's tournament.
This is it. Andy Markiton's going to win this match here over Eric Marich, 2-1.
The master.
The North American Vintage Champion.